Hey, this is Tyler Gilbert from Regina, Saskatchewan. I'm hanging out with Mark and Joelle of the Sit Down Podcast. This is episode number 39.
Hey diggers,
Thanks for watching and listening to our episodes. I'm Joel.
and I'm Mark.
Please make sure you like this video, subscribe to our channel, and click the bell to get notified when we have new episodes online.
Find us on your favorite platform like Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcasts. And also follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And of course, you can get your new and used records on our website, funkymooserecords.ca.
That's FUNKYMOOSERECORDS.ca.
What he said. And you're done.
Yeah.
Thanks for hanging out. See you later.
Thanks, everybody.
EGIF.
Yeah, this is
welcome and thank you
yeah. Thanks for hanging out with us.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me.
on this lovely Friday night. How was your day?
It's pretty good. I spent most of the day painting, so I still got paint on my hands and stuff.
Nice.
So it was kind of a strange day. I'm not a huge fan of painting. I can't fathom why anyone would want to be a professional painter because I just don't. I just find no pleasure in it.
Okay, that kind of answers my question. You're not painting for pleasure like a canvas or whatever. You're
No.
painting.
No, I'm painting walls with roller and trim, and it's not fun, and my hand hurts.
Yeah. My wife decided it was a good idea to do our master bedroom, so she was painting most of it, and then I had to take over, and I did 1.5 walls, and my hands were just all cramped up.
Yeah,
That sucked.
it's surprisingly because you think I'd be used to it playing guitar and stuff, but I don't know, holding that paintbrush just I get the weirdest cramps in the middle of my palms and everything. It's like, man, this stuff's hard.
It's different. Yeah. Respect to painters.
Oh, I'm so
It's
bad
weird.
at it. I'm constantly going over, I'm terrible at blending, right? So if I start with the wet brush, and then I'll get 4 or 5 feet over, but then where I've went is starting to dry or whatever. So then it looks like a different shade. So I go back and I'm always going over the same spot all the time.
I can relate. I think I did that a few times today.
Yeah.
5 layers of paint there.
Yeah. A gallon of paint on one wall.
Yeah. And then your wife goes, "Where'd all the paint go?
Yep.
What's on the wall? Somewhere."
You want to make sure that it's got layers so that it can take a blow and still have the color showing.
That's right.
Because we have kids.
Yeah, we need it to last. It just adds more cushion on the house there, makes it stronger.
That's right. Adds value.
Makes it more soundproof, warmer, all sorts of benefits.
There you go.
Soundproof, yeah.
Soundproofing the walls.
With paint.
I don't think that works that way.
We'll
So
have
are
to
you
call in
doing-
a specialist to this.
Are you doing the whole house, the whole interior, or just one room?
No, just this basement part. So it's kind of chaos down here right now. And it looks like a murder scene because there's plastic laid out all over the place.
Yeah.
Oh,
What's that?
are you Dexter?
Yeah, that's one show I've never seen before, and I've heard great things about it. I've heard everyone.
It's
likes
actually
that
gone
show.
back. It's coming back.
Is it?
Yeah.
Ah.
Well, for one season, right?
I think 10 episodes or something.
Joel and I were hooked on that show.
Yeah.
I'll be
I-
honest. It was sweet. I really enjoyed it. The first few seasons, and then I'm not one to binge watch that much. It gets too repetitive for me, right?
Yeah.
I get sick of things that's too common, right? So
Yeah.
the last 3 seasons, I was kind of meh, I watched it because the wife liked it and stuff, but it's not a bad show, but it is repetitive.
Yeah.
It's
Well, it's
all-
I don't watch a lot of TV or series type shows. But I did get into The Walking Dead when it came out, and I watched it. And then you talk about repetitive. That show basically just repeated the same thing every season. and it's like I'm still trying to hang in there. Well, I guess it's coming to an end now, and it's like branching out into a bunch of other things. But I was hanging in there. I was like, I still have hope for it. It's gonna come back and be good. But it's just kind of the same thing over and over.
I've watched the first few episodes of The Walking Dead, and it's basically the zombies are coming, and that one guy is trying to kill him, and that's right.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah. That's actually the same with these cop shows like CSI and NCIS and whatever.
Yeah, I was big into CSI when that started.
But have you ever noticed that first scene is dead body, then people show up, the cops show up, and what happened here? And then there's a little bit of a
takes his glasses off.
yeah, and then it's like
iconic when he does that.
Yeah, and then in the first 3 minutes, the killer is there. He's in that scene somewhere, or in the next scene. Then they spend 40 minutes on, well, could it be this one, or could it be that, or could it be this one? And then 42 minutes later, it's like, oh, it was that guy all along. Yeah.
What amazes me is how long they can like keep a show going with the same formula,
right?
And it just don't watch it. Yeah,
and they branch out to like CSI Miami and CSI New York, and
because the killings
CSI
are all going to be
Las
different
Vegas.
there.
It's like,
yeah, they're all dead. It's all the same guy in the first 3 minutes.
I never noticed that. I'll have to keep an eye next time I watch one. It's like it's one of these guys in this scene right here.
Yeah. So yeah, how did we get in touch? It was because of Joe, right? The Limbo podcast.
Yeah. He kind of directed me your way, and I thought, that sounds great.
Shout out to Joe.
Yeah,
thanks, Joe.
Check out the Limbo podcast. As well. Yeah,
he's a good friend of mine. We've been friends for a long time.
Oh yeah,
nice.
Because there was also a reason, because you have something to promote, right?
That's true. Yeah, I got a new EP coming out. It's called The Fallen, and it's 5 songs on it. And we released the single from it on October 23rd. It's called Superman, and it's doing quite well on the old streaming platforms here and there. And then the album comes out November 20th. So, or the EP, I guess.
Yeah. Nice.
Okay, so Superman, you said?
Yeah, Superman is the single from it.
I listened to it on YouTube today.
On YouTube?
I did.
Oh yeah.
I was kind of going through I looked you up on YouTube, and then because the free music, right? But yeah, it was. I definitely
I'm not
was getting into it
again.
pretty good. Yeah, we were getting into it before because I don't pay for music, and he was giving me shit. He's like, we're going to promote artists so they can make money, and you're not even paying for it. But yeah, sorry.
Well, YouTube does technically pay a very, very small royalty.
But Tidal pays like 3 times as much as YouTube.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Tidal's like not anywhere near the top 3. Like the top 3 biggest ones are like Apple,
and that's right. And that is so weird because they pay out more than all those others. So like you would think that they would be more popular.
You would. Spotify just kind of came out. They came out with like a bang, and I think they were kind of involved in it before a lot of the other ones. Like I know Apple just kind of like they were into iTunes and stuff, but their like Apple Music part of it, the streaming part, was a little bit behind Spotify. So they kind of beat everyone to the game. Aside from YouTube, YouTube's also pretty big too. But yeah, I don't know. People just kind of gravitate because I think Spotify and YouTube are the biggest as far as like numbers of people users on it.
So you're saying that Apple Music is paying more than Tidal?
No, Tidal. I think Tidal pays.
Okay.
I think there's one of the highest royalty payments. But
I think there's more users on on iTunes.
Yeah, and I think that has mostly to do with marketing, because I don't think Tidal is advertising anywhere.
Well, did you say that? Is that like Jay-Z owns it or something?
Yeah. It's an artist-owned. Jay-Z
really?
is the owner. Yeah, and then I guess they have a board of directors or something, and they're all artists on that board. And that's why
I
they
don't-
pay out so much, because it's for the artists, right?
Yeah. No.
Um,
Yeah.
And then there's also Napster. Napster actually pays the most, but they seem to have a kind of a clunky interface and it's kind of weird.
Yeah, I've never actually gone and looked at Napster. Like, I was actually kind of surprised, like when streaming was getting big and stuff. Like, my distributor tells me like where it all is, and I was like, Napster, they're still around, and I was actually surprised that they're still around. I don't know anyone that actually uses them, but must be somebody.
Yeah,
I just remember them from like that big fight with Metallica, right? When they first came out, there was a court case and everything.
Yeah.
And then that was it. I never heard of them since
I
until
just-
like a few weeks.
I just remember
I-
them from downloading illegal music, and I
Yeah.
think you could have got music or movies on there too. I think way back. But that's how I remember them, and I knew that they were getting into the
I think
streaming
porn
game. But
too.
Huh?
I think I downloaded porn on Napster. I think.
I didn't want to say that, but yeah, I think so.
Actually, I think I did the exact same thing. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
And then, but like, once the Metallica thing happened, I kind of thought like Napster was done from
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I agree.
but
I
apparently
think-
not.
I think it was bought like a few times. I think Justin Timberlake had a hand in it too at one point.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
I think so. I could be wrong though.
I
We
didn't know
should
that.
ask him.
Yeah, we should have him on the show.
You guys' number? I'll call him up.
Yeah,
We'll just put the clip on Twitter.
yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, JT.
JT.
Want to listen to our podcast on the go? Why don't you check out the Pamu Slide earbuds? They're wireless, come with a charging case, and you can change the volume with touch controls, pause, play, and skip songs, and you can talk to Siri or Google Assistant without touching your phone. They're more affordable than the big brands and are comfortable to wear for extended periods of time, and they sound fantastic. Pick up a pair at fmr.fm/PAMU. That's fmr.fm/PAMU.
Want to sell your band's merch, CDs, records, or digital files on your own website? Check out our partners at Shopify. With over 1 million e-commerce sites on their platform, Shopify is the place to be to sell your stuff. They have free and premium themes, an app store to expand on your site. They take care of payments for you, and you can register your domain name all from one dashboard. They have a fantastic support team, and you're supporting a local Canadian company. Sign up for the 14-day free trial at fmr.fm/Shopify. That is fmr.fm/Shopify for a free trial.
Man, I just started Twitter like a few weeks ago, and I'm having so much fun with it.
Thank you.
It's pretty neat.
You
So
finally listened to me for
I'm
once.
like every now and again I'll do something stupid, like I don't know. I follow a lot of comedians, right?
Yeah.
So I'll like tag them in some, like I'll put like at Andrew Santino or something, and then he'll give me a like, and I'm just like on cloud nine for like an hour after. Like,
Oh, I know the
hey,
feeling.
comment.
I tend to gravitate more towards Instagram. I don't know why. I just kind of like the base, the simplicity of. I guess Twitter is really simple too, but maybe it's too simple for me. I don't know. I just didn't. Out of like the three, like Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, I think I use Twitter the least. It just. I don't know. I just don't.
Oh, you replied pretty quick when I sent you a message.
Well, yeah, I still use it. I try to keep up with all three of them. But like Instagram personally is like kind of my favorite. I don't know. I just kind of like the whole picture.
Yeah, Joel's like that too, but I never got into Instagram, and I even tried, Snapchat and whatever. I tried to try all the platforms except for TikTok.
Yeah, stay
Yeah.
with me.
Oh, I actually gave in, and I was like last year. I was like, I got to get on this TikTok and see what it's all about. And it's like, and I posted some like videos, kind of just goofy things and promotional videos, and my niece and nephew are like, "You're doing it wrong, Uncle. It's like you're supposed to like have dancing videos like with music." And I was like, I don't want to do that. It's like,
I ain't dancing.
so I got rid of TikTok. It's like, I think I'm too old for this. I'm past the fit in crowd.
I guess you're past 30. That makes you old, right?
That's all it takes these days. And my niece and nephew constantly remind me.
Yeah.
It's like, you're in a touch, Uncle. Oh, geez, I thought I was in. My dad always says that he's in the in crowd, the incompetent, the incomprehensible.
Inconsistent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
But
yeah, I
what-
tried. I tried posting a video on Instagram today, and I think they changed. They must have done some kind of upgrade. You know, when you go to post a video, and then there's like that little circle with the 2 arrows so that it like kind of crops the video so it's all in frame.
Yeah.
Like not doing that on the video anymore. I tried like restarting my phone, everything, and it's not working. So I was like, screw it, and I put a video on Twitter instead.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think things are a little different on Instagram now.
But
I haven't really looked too much lately. But
I saw today that that Facebook is under fire again. The hashtag was trending on Twitter. Delete Facebook.
What'd they do now?
Well, apparently Zuckerberg told all of his staff that what's this?
Is it something with the election?
No, what's that right winger dude? Fuck, I can't remember now. It's probably still trending.
Look at that. I thought you said you'd be the first to swear. He beat you to it.
Nah.
Did I not swear yet? Well, fuck.
Or maybe I missed it. Maybe it was so smooth that I just missed it.
Yeah, he is very subtle in his swearing. Yeah.
You know, you can tell a seasoned vet when they swear. They just it just
You don't even know.
Yeah. My brother's a lot like that. He's like, he just nails them like every second word. It's like, oh, I think he just swore. No, wait, I don't know if he did it or not.
All right, it's not trending anymore, so I can't.
What do you mean, right winger?
There's this he's the owner of Breitbart or Bright, whatever that very extreme right websites. Anyway,
right. Anyway,
so that guy said that the head honcho of the World Health Organization and someone else should be beheaded.
Jeez.
And Mark Zuckerberg said, well, he didn't actually do anything wrong according to our policies, so he can stay on our platform. So the Twitter crowd goes like, "Well, ban him," and then, well, if you're support,
it's all that fucking cancel culture.
If you're not against
bullshit,
him, then you're
like,
with him.
Ease up, man.
Yeah.
So
it's a crazy world, especially with the accessibility of the internet and the social medias and everybody able to share their 2 bits. It's just madness out there.
Yeah. And I was just telling Joel too, like people just read the headlines, make up their own mind, and then read about it.
That's all you need now. It's like, oh yeah, I know what that whole article said just because I read the title.
Yeah.
There's been I don't remember who these people are. I saw this on Rogan. I think he's talked about them a few times. There was a group of people who would write phony articles and submit them to like Scholar magazines and stuff, like completely way out to lunch articles on, I don't know, something about like dogs in a park, but are they like raping the other dogs, or I don't know what kind of story it was, something on the lines of that, right? And then the publicists of these magazines were like, you know, they would get like high scholars on these bullshit articles and then publicize them in their magazines. And that was the whole joke, right? Because these guys would make up a complete bullshit story, but write it like really articulate and everything, like make it sound really good, and they'd get published. And
that's funny.
It's nuts. It's all about marketing nowadays.
Yeah.
It's all about getting...
even the people that like have nothing really to sell, like people are obsessed with likes and views, and it's like, you don't even have a product you're selling. Why are you so obsessed with all this stuff? But,
yeah. And then they call them in marketing terms, they call them vanity metrics. So that brands are going after likes and retweets and shares and whatever. But if you're not selling anything, then it all doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So speaking of marketing, how do you go about, promoting your music and your next EP, for example?
Well, this year is a little different than the most, as everyone knows. Usually I would like tour, and I had a bunch of tours kind of scheduled for this year, but they all got dismantled. But most of the marketing these days is like all online. There's still like physical posters and printouts and mailouts and stuff, and contacting magazines, newspapers, like local newspapers and stuff for interviews and podcasts such as yourself.
Yeah.
And yeah, and there's a big thing like within the past 5 years for like playlist pushing, trying to promote to different playlists. I tend to focus more on like Spotify for the playlists. I know Apple also has playlists and stuff, but yeah, so I have a guy that I kind of hire who kind of promotes me to different playlists within Spotify, different kind of like rock genre playlists, and I find they work really well. Got to be careful with that because like streaming isn't a tremendous revenue source, so it's like how much budget should I use for this kind of marketing when it's like brings in only so. But yeah, it's a kind of a tricky thing, and like touring was probably one of the best ways I found. That's why it's unfortunate that there is no touring, but like because you roll into a town and not only are you connecting with like other local musicians of the area because you're sharing a bill, sharing a show with them, but you like the people are actually able to come and talk to you after the show, and like a lot of times they would buy physical copies of the CD, even if like because streaming has kind of taken over everything, but they still have like like the memorabilia of having a CD, even if they don't play it. It's like, oh, I got a signed copy of a CD, and it's just a much more personal touch that way.
For sure, that we do that too. Like going to a concert, I always make sure I'm walking out of there with something, right? A sweater, a poster, an album, something, not just a ticket, right? Like I'm in merch for sure.
Yeah, and it's not even so much about supporting the artist, but it's something to remember, that show or whatever. Like I have a Justin Lacroix CD. He came to Bellevue one time, and we were just talking music, and he signed a CD for me, and it's in a drawer. I played it maybe once.
Yeah.
Every time I open that drawer, I see that CD, and I was like, oh yeah, I remember that.
I think we all went to my house after that night, didn't we?
Maybe. Well, this was a while ago.
Yeah,
so
I remember getting really drunk at my house one night with a lot of like throughout the house.
Yeah.
I'm thinking that, and I forgot all about that till you just said that.
Could have been
crazy.
Him, yeah.
Anyways,
you should have got a CD. You would have remembered.
Yeah. But I agree with you, and I find a lot of people find the same way. Like they'll take a piece of merch home, just kind of like a nostalgic sort of thing. It's like, oh yeah, I was at that show then, and it's like, yeah, it works good for that.
For sure, it always comes with a story too. It's not just, oh, here's a signed record, whatever. It's like the story of leading it. Like I got a story for you. So Pop Evil, right? I saw them in Saskatoon, and we stood in line for a while. Yeah, I got a picture of it. I'll show you after. But
where was I?
I don't know.
What the hell? I like Pop Evil.
Yeah. Well, I got to meet them.
Fuck you.
Yeah.
Hey, get along, you two. Don't make me have to come over there and break it up.
So here's the story. So I bought my wife was pregnant with our son at the time, and I was for certain that it was going to be a girl. So I bought a pink Pop Evil t-shirt, and I had them autograph it to my baby girl. And then so I got this pink t-shirt signed from Pop Evil for my son. So that's like what I mean. I got
Did he wear it?
No, I never gave it to him. It's in my closet.
What?
I
So you need another kid.
I'll have to give it to him now. Funny.
Now he knows about it.
Yeah, now he'll know about it.
Yeah.
You care.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna try and find that picture. But yeah, no, I love trying to get. My whole thing going to concerts is all about like trying to get the autograph, right? Trying to meet the musician or whatever and hang out with them, and then they usually just like. It's so crazy, everybody's trying to get an autograph and stuff. So it's not like I get too much one-on-one time.
Yeah.
We did that at a Paul Brandt show. Oh, yeah, I know that picture.
Yeah. That's the pink shirt.
Yeah. But we went to a Paul Brandt show because my wife is a Paul Brandt fan.
Yeah.
And This was at TCU Place in Saskatoon.
Oh, okay.
And after the show, he came out to the lobby, and anyone that wanted could just line up and then just have your picture taken with him. That was kind of cool.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that's cool
And-
when they do that. Like I was at a show.
That was
That
me.
was,
I just sent you that picture.
Oh, okay. I was at a show where they did the same thing, and like I thought it was like so cool that they actually come out and allow you to like take pictures, and it's like that personal touch is like like you can't really get that anywhere else. Like, oh, it's like, oh, I ordered a signed copy of the CD, it's coming in the mail. It's like there's real no personal thing to that, really.
And I was thinking of that when we were talking about it. Like, there are copies of records that are signed, apparently signed by the band, that go for a stupid amount of money, and people are buying it because they're signed. And I'm like, well, that's great. First of all, you don't know if it's actually signed by them.
Oh yeah.
Second of all, there's no story. You bought that thing on eBay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Amount of money for it.
I bought an autographed Godsmack CD at the concert though. But it wasn't like I got to meet them and get them to sign it. It was like at the merch thing. And it was like you could buy the regular CD or the CD with the autographs for like $10 more, and I got that.
But that's different because you can
be certain. I can be certain.
Pretty much be certain that they signed it and you were at the show.
Right.
So that's something that you remember.
Right.
Right. But if you just buy that Godsmack CD on eBay for $250 because it's signed.
Yeah, it's some kid in his basement forging the signature. I got it. Well, you don't know. That's the thing. Yeah.
I did that back in school with a hockey card. So, like, remember Patrick Roy, the goalie for Montreal Canadiens, right? So a cousin of mine, his name was Patrick Roy. Shout out to Pat. And I kept telling people that Pat Roy was my cousin, and I always made them assume that it was the goaltender. And then twice this happened where they would give me the hockey card and get me to get it autographed, so I would just write Pat Roy on it. I did that twice. Just fuck up their card, right?
That's funny.
That card untouched is probably worth money, but now that you scribbled on it,
not anymore. That's awesome. Actually, I think I got one of those cards.
I was like, great. 5 or 6 of that. Shit.
But it depends on how you word it, though. Like, you could say Pat Roy is my cousin. You're not lying.
Yeah, well, that's exactly it. Yeah. But then I think that's how it started. But then I just didn't. I just rolled with it, and I was like, yeah, the goalie, yeah.
He played hockey, not from Montreal, but
that's right. Yeah. He was a goalie.
One of those outdoor rinks.
In St. Louis.
Too funny.
Yeah. So you said you were born in Calgary, right?
Yeah.
Just you were born and then moved to Regina real soon, or?
We kind of jumped around. I was born in Calgary, and then I actually lived in Montana for a bit, and then they came back to Lethbridge, Alberta, and then over to Regina. So kind of took a little dip down there and across. But yeah, I've been here for like quite a while. I forgot how many years, maybe 15 or more, maybe more. Time flies too fast. I can't remember things.
You're getting old, I guess.
Like, or too many wobbly pops and brain going fried.
Yeah, I was going to ask you did you do music in Montana, but I guess you were a little bit younger then.
Yeah, a little too young there. I didn't really start getting into music until about. I always liked music, but I mean like getting into it, like recording and stuff, until I was in Regina and stuff. Yeah.
Okay, I'm kind of trying to do math. So
they were short stays in those places. So yeah. I think when we got here, I was about grade 6, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how old were you when you started, getting serious about music?
That's a good question. My first EP came out or I started making these little demos on this little Boss recorder thing, and those started in 2003. I can't, and my math isn't on
17
cue
ago.
to figure out what age that was, but yeah,
17 years ago.
2003 I started making those until about 2007 or so. From 2003 2007 I made all these little shitty demos, and they sound awful, and I actually still have them, but I don't let anyone hear them. And then in 2008 I released my first like commercial release that I actually sold and stuff, and that was a little EP called Voss. And yeah, and then from there on, just they got not so shitty with each passing album. And I'd actually go into like studios with the band and stuff and record them. So the early demos were just me and an acoustic guitar mostly.
Okay, so I have two questions about that. One, do you still listen to those tapes every once in a while?
I don't. They're sitting in my filing cabinet. Sometimes I'll be like looking through things and I'll find one in a box or something. It's like, oh my god, hide that thing. It's check away.
The way you're saying it reminds me of Ed Sheeran. Ed Sheeran actually has the first song that he ever wrote, and he demoed it to himself in his phone, and he transferred it over to every phone that he had, and he still has that first,
Really?
kind of the melody and whatever. He sang that into his phone, and he carries that with him, and he's not afraid to share it with people either. It's terrible, and he says so too, but he just shares it with whoever wants to hear
It's
it.
like the starting point, right?
Yeah,
It's the start
yeah,
of
it's
all of it.
Yeah, and
it's kind of a neat idea, like to have it and like listen, like to hear your personal growth with it within like songwriting and singing and whatnot.
And then every time you have a dip, like, oh man, I suck, and then you listen to that. Nope, I'm actually pretty good right now.
That's interesting. Yeah, I didn't know that.
Okay, so and then the second part is your last album is more of a hard rock kind of album, and your earlier stuff is more folky, right?
Yeah. The demos were kind of mixed with all sorts of stuff, but yeah, my first album was like singer-songwriter kind of folky stuff. The first couple, I guess. And then I released in 2013 one called OK Murphy, and it was sort of starting to get into more rock sound. And then after that, I took another switch and I went kind of country almost, and it was kind of like a country rock twangy sounding album. And then the last album, which is Underdog, was my heaviest album to date. So it was like hard rocks kind of stuff. And this new EP is kind of jumps again kind of back into, it kind of blends more of my acoustic-y things with some of like the hard rock stuff. So it's kind of a blend between a couple different albums. Yeah, and then my plan for the future ones, because I have a whole whackload of songs that I've been working on for like the past couple years, and there's about 30 to 40 songs or so. So I'm gonna release them in this EP format, and then I'll do like 3 or 4 of the EPs, and then release a full length album, and then another 3 or 4, and then another full length. It's kind of weird. I tend to write a lot of songs, and I'm like, oh, I don't want to like not put them on a CD because then they'll get lost, and they'll probably never make it on a CD. So I like to just put them all out, and it's, I don't know. So some people might frown upon that, but I'd rather just make as much music as I can while I can.
Sure, man.
Yeah.
Amen.
They can frown all they want, man.
Yeah, let them
It's
frown.
your music.
So is it on the, like I was saying, I was listening to the songs on YouTube today, and like you mentioned how you play with a band.
Yeah.
So on the recordings that are online and stuff, like, are you doing like lead guitars on there as well as vocals?
Yeah. So I do all the guitars, the rhythm, the leads, and the vocals.
Nice. Right on. Yeah, I love all the the electric guitar on actually even the song Electric, like that kind of shit. I love that stuff.
Yeah.
It just makes me think. I don't know why. I hate saying like what I think when I'm talking to musicians and stuff because like who cares what I think? Fuck, like who am I, right? But what it reminded me of is there's a few songs actually when it would get to like the guitar solo in the song and stuff, and I was thinking of like kind of 80s rock, like a Van Halen kind of like is it Beat It or Billie Jean, the guitar that Van Halen did?
Beat it,
On
Eddie.
Beat It.
Eddie did that one, yeah.
Right. So like yeah, that was, it would kind of make me think of that time, like in the 80s, like that kind of music. And I loved it, man. I loved that.
Well, I'll take that as a compliment because like I'm a huge Michael Jackson fan.
There you go.
Well, and the first song I listened to was Need Love and Shelter. That was the first one that I listened to, and I think it was the guitar solo on that made me think of Michael Jackson, or that song, like Beat It, right?
Yeah.
Like, holy shit. And I was like, getting into it a little bit more, but and then I was like, oh yeah, this I can tell or relate it to like 80s like hair band metal rock, like guitar, like that sound. I was picking up on it and I love it. It was good, man. I had a good day. I spent my afternoon with you today, so thank you for that.
That's the great thing about music is it makes me omnipresent.
Yeah.
I can be all these places at the same time.
And everybody listening to something else.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked New Beginnings. I like that song.
Yeah. That's kind of good. Yeah, a little jivier feel to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thanks, fellas.
Yeah.
Nice guys. Making my head swell up. It won't fit in this Zoom screen pretty soon.
Just make sure your toque is tight enough.
Yeah, it's starting to bust at the seams. I can feel it over here.
Cool, man. Oh, you want to hear another little compliment then?
Oh, sure. Lay it on.
Here we go.
Here we go.
All right. So, Lady on the Mountaintop. I want to know a little bit about this one, but what that one made me think of at the start, I was kind of thinking like not the vocals or anything, but just the sound of it, like the instruments and stuff. I was thinking it reminded me of Bon Jovi. And then as I was listening to it, my wife got in the car and she's like, "Oh, what are you listening to?" So I told her I was listening to you, and she said it made her think of Creed. So I don't know if that like she likes Creed, so
I've actually heard I've had someone else once refer me to Creed, which is cool. Yeah, that's awesome.
That song in particular though is what we were listening to when that happened. But yeah,
did you know that Alter Bridge is part members from Creed?
I was actually just going to say that. It's I think it consists of everybody except for the singer. I forgot his damn name. He's like Miles Kennedy. Yeah. But yeah.
No, Miles Kennedy was the guitarist in Creed, wasn't he? Or
was he? Because Mark Tremonti, I think, is the guitar player. From Creed, who's in Alter Bridge.
Oh yeah. Okay, so right. So Creed got kind of dismantled, I guess, or they split up or whatever.
Yeah, because
the members kind of got together and got Miles Kennedy, and then it's kind of Creed 2.0.
I think so, but like I was never a huge fan of Creed, but I really like Alter Bridge. I think Miles Kennedy is one of the best vocalists ever. Like he's
and then his work with Slash, Jesus.
Yeah, he's got some cool stuff. Anyways, going back to the story of that song, there's actually a couple interesting stories about it. The song is written about it's like tells the story of this kind of petty thief from Nevada, and it's mostly just like robberies and stuff. And so the cops start like tailing her and chasing her. So she heads to the Rocky Mountains to kind of escape, and she wants just to live like a normal life and just leave her past behind. And there's an interesting story about it. I was down on tour like many years ago down in Salt Lake City, and I got to the show, I was playing a show in Salt Lake City, and I got in and I was setting up, and all of a sudden I look over and I see this at the front door. A lady comes in and she like talks to the bouncer, and they're like talking. All of a sudden he points to me. So then she comes over and the first thing out of her mouth is, she's like, "I'm your lady of the mountaintop," and I'm thinking, oh, that's strange. You don't usually hear that. And I've never heard that anyone say that.
Dirty.
Yeah.
And it's like, where do you go from there? It's like, oh, that's great. And so she got kind of talking more about it, and she's like, she lived on top of the mountain there because it's kind of surrounded by mountains, and she said that the aliens told her to come down to my show somehow. She like found out the name of my song, and she's like, it's about me. It's about me. I have to go down and meet this guy. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. And then she was like, she kept the whole night. She was like, I got to show you. There's something I got to show you in my truck. If when you're done with my truck. And I was like, then I was starting to get nervous. I was like, oh my gosh, I think I might get taken away or something. But it turns out she was actually just wanting to show me these. I did go in her truck, but when I got in, I was like, I looked behind the seat sort of just to make sure I wasn't like going to get chloroformed or something. And it turned out she had these like NASA printouts of these different planets, and she like wanted to show me
Where she was from.
No, she had like all these like spiels of like stories of like the shapes and like the imprints on these planets. And I was like, oh, that's crazy. I never really heard anything about that, like in that sort of sense. And it makes for a crazy story. I was like, wow, that was unusual, but interesting.
The aliens told her to go see your show
because the song was about her.
But yeah, because of that song, Lady of the Mountaintop, she said that she was the Lady of the Mountaintop. I was like, oh.
Was she cute?
Well, she was much older than I was.
She can still be cute.
Well, that's true. I shouldn't have worded it like that. But I mean,
she's probably as old as you are now.
No, she was older. Would have been older still. But I don't know. It wasn't my type. I guess let's just say that it wasn't my type. You're gonna get me in trouble here.
If you were gonna say yeah, I was like gonna say that's why you got in the truck, man. Let's be real. Yeah, like so how like fuck that. I wouldn't have gotten that truck, man.
That's crazy.
I would have been like,
I would have, yeah.
Do you think so?
If
I might have went to the truck, but I don't think I would have got in.
Yeah, it probably wasn't the smartest thing to do.
She said the Indians, I would have been like, okay,
it's
like,
rock and roll, man.
Yeah. That's funny. And then she after that she did offer. She's like, I have a place you can stay at, and I was like, oh no, I gotta get going down the road somewhere. Like, oh, no, that's enough. That's close enough.
That reminds me of that story from Paris.
From Paris, yeah.
When that's a previous guest we had on too. Wasn't that out by Regina somewheres? She was hitchhiking or something.
Yeah.
And she ended up getting picked up by a couple guys that took her back to like their trailer house. And then she ended up like shoveling gravel or some shit like that. Like fucking crazy story.
Ones though. Like, see what happens.
Yeah. But she was hitchhiking though, and they were like, oh, you need a lift, and like, yeah, brought her back. Basically kidnapped her for a night.
And she didn't care.
Yeah. She was like, oh, whatever. She got a place to stay.
She's like, I might get killed, but you know.
Yeah. Was she a musician?
Yes.
Yeah.
The desperate things musicians do sometimes.
No doubt.
Yeah, it probably wasn't the smartest choice to get into that truck, but I don't know.
I guess that you were going to the truck. Did you tell anyone you were going? Like, hey man, I'm gonna go just check out what this girl wants to show me in the truck here. I'm not back in like 10 minutes.
Yeah, tell the
I didn't
hate. Keep an eye on me.
I didn't actually. I just was like, brain must have switched off. I don't know. No, nobody knew. I could have just. I could have ended up on this. I could have ended up on Forensic Files on this episode of Forensic Files. Musician is missing.
The first 3 minutes. It's the
CSI
the first 3 minutes.
Yeah. Wow. That's
Man.
crazy.
So that song always has a special story to go with it at shows and stuff.
Yeah, no kidding.
that was Nevada,
Aliens.
or she was from Nevada.
She was from Salt Lake City, Utah.
Right.
No, but the song is from the chick
Yeah,
in Nevada, right?
This, yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
That's awesome.
Sorry, I'm trying to wrap my head around all of this.
Yeah, we'll have to play that back. I like it. Okay, so the EP's released on November 20th, right?
It is. Yeah.
And then you said like normally you'd be going on tour and stuff. So like what's the like what do you see happening after the 20th? Like are you doing any gigs out in Regina at all, or like what's going on there?
There's been like I haven't done any shows. There's been like a few places that have shows every once in a while, but there's really not much like happening here. Our main venue is like not really doing anything. It's basically shut down. Yeah, that I know like some friends of mine and stuff. They do like the streaming concerts, but I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of the live streaming concerts. I did a couple. I did one for Cathedral Arts Festival, and another one for a radio station down the States. But other than that, I don't really have the greatest setup. Like I would just probably just be using it through my phone or something. I don't really have like great video equipment to like pull off good quality of any sorts. So yeah, I haven't really done the streaming thing. So my plan kind of the whole year, like the year, it's been just kind of day by day. Hopefully next year things will like be better where I could tour again, and because I usually tour down the States and usually Western Canada, so more so than East. But yeah, just kind of feeling it out.
Huh.
I probably should do a live stream at some point with the release of this album. So I'll plan something.
So what was your favorite place to gig in the past? Let's reminisce a little bit.
Oh,
Like venue?
Yeah, venue or this crazy alien story. Where did that happen?
Well, that place wasn't. I wouldn't say that was my favorite.
No, but
as far as
where did that one happen?
that was in Salt Lake City at a little. It was like called Blue Bistro or something. Probably my favorite places. New York was cool, and actually Lethbridge has had, or no, it's still there, Gus. They have a really cool venue that it's called Owl Acoustic Lounge. It's probably one of my favorite places to play. But New York was really cool to play. And I can tell you a kind of a funny story there too. But the venues there are just so different. They're all like those long skinny buildings because like they cram them all in, so you're like stage is way in the back of the place, and I don't know, just dark dungy places, and it's just cool to be in that city. And so I did a lot of walking around when I was in New York, and so I was just kind of doing the normal touristy things, just looking at everything. But I got into this one park, and there was a little guy there. I was taking a picture of this fountain or something, and he comes up and he's like, would you take a picture of me and my fellows with my camera? And he was an older guy, and I think he was from California, I think he said. And he's like, yeah, sure, I'll take your picture. And before he handed me the camera, he goes, take a look at my shoes. So I looked down at his shoes, and he goes, those are good running shoes. If you decide to steal my camera, I'll chase after you. I said, no, I'm not going to steal your camera. And he was like I'd say 80s or so, late 70s, early 80s. And so I took the picture, and he handed his camera back, and he goes, I was just kidding. I'd never be able to catch you. I just thought that was a funny little story.
Cute.
Then you run off.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting that you named New York and Lethbridge in one breath. That was
Yeah, it's kind of a strange mix. From Brantford, Ontario, I played another cool one. We played kind of it was a train station, but we played outside right beside the train tracks. So that was kind of a
That's pretty
Oh.
sweet.
experience, yeah. And then in Regina here, they have they had for the past few years, they had shows on top of Hill Tower 3. So played up there a couple years in a row, and that's pretty cool, playing on top of a tall building like that.
Yeah.
Sweet. What would you say is there a big difference from doing some gigs in the States and then doing some in like Canada, Western Canada? Is there a major difference that you can see? Like whether it be with the crowds or
some of like the big cities like LA, Chicago, and New York, most of New York's venues, they kind of operate a little differently. So like they'll have like a time slot and all these like different artists play, and like your ticket sales are just for like your hour in that slot. And then so you come in and there'll be people already in there, but they paid their ticket for like the previous hour, but they're still in there. And then like then once you're done, the door person switches and they collect this next person's ticket sales. It's kind of strange how they work their venues. I don't overly care for that much, but I can see why they do it in some senses, because of there's just so many people, and it's just an easy way for them to like keep track of ticket sales in a sense. But yeah.
So if you're in a big city and you want to go see a show and you get in like early, then it doesn't mean your money is going to the third artist.
Yeah. It's kind of a ripoff that way, because the guy could like pay early and then stay for every act. This is more of like more like a smaller venue thing, smaller to mid venue, because I played Chicago once and it worked that way, and it was kind of a bigger venue, which it's a strange format. I don't know whoever came up with that, but you see that in like bigger cities. Even Toronto there's a few venues in Toronto that do that. But no, there's good shows up here and down there. I did, of my years of touring, I've noticed a difference between kind of West and East, so to say. I find the West to be a little more generous and stuff, and especially like smaller towns, like smaller cities and smaller towns. People are just a lot more friendly, it seems. Whereas the big cities, I guess because there's so much music that people can be a little more picky and choosy of what they go out to see. So it's
right.
I've noticed like differences in that, but as far as that is like, I don't know.
Is that just in Canada, or that's like that in the States as well, like Westerns?
Yeah, I've noticed it in both countries. The East is just, there's just so many more people and so many more venues and stuff, and yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. You need to change the battery on your smoke detector.
Oh, is that beeping?
Yeah.
I see. I hear it so often. I think I just tuned it out. I don't even know where the damn thing is, because there's a ring up there of where it should be, and it's not there.
Those damn aliens again, man.
Damn it.
Maybe it's in the hallway. I don't
know. Wherever it is, I think I heard it.
Yep, I heard it too.
You're gonna have a nice beeping throughout this whole podcast. I didn't even think of that.
It's okay. It's not really annoying, but everyone listening up to this point is going to
think that
now.
their batteries are dying. And they're fucking.
They're gonna hear every beep from now on.
Yeah.
What do you got in the glass? Looks like a red eye.
It is a little Great Western and Clamato.
Hey-o.
Huh.
But I know that you guys are those. What do you guys drink? I was gonna ask you.
I got just a Pepsi over here.
We're sponsored by Pepsi, but not yet.
Oh,
unofficially sponsored by Pepsi. I think we've got one every episode.
We endorse them, but we don't get anything in return. Yeah.
Well,
Except
That
some
sounds like a pretty good deal.
Yeah, we get that.
diabetes. Yeah.
Yeah. For free. Yeah. Product placement.
Yeah.
Have you ever considered putting your music on a record? Like not on CDs but on vinyl?
I have. I would really like to. It's quite expensive actually to press those, and there's not a lot of pressing plants around here. I think Winnipeg's got one, but I've looked into it and it's quite expensive. But it is something that I've wanted to do for a long time, especially since the resurgence of vinyl popularity. So one of these days.
Maybe we can help
Maybe.
you out. We know a few people.
You would probably know people. Well, I'll have to grab some contact info from you because it'd be cool. I wouldn't do it for like these EPs so much, but maybe more like the album that that'll come out probably like
Yeah.
later next year.
Actually, there are more pressing plants now than 2 years ago.
Really?
Yeah, so from east to west, there's one in Vancouver. There's one in Calgary. There are 2 or 3 in Toronto.
Really?
There's
Wow,
one in
maybe-
EI. Yeah,
Is there one in Winnipeg, or was I totally off?
not that I know of, but that doesn't mean
I
it
must be
doesn't.
off.
It's possible, but I'm pretty sure Toronto is the one between Calgary and not between, like it's Calgary
next
and then Toronto. There's nothing in between.
I didn't realize Calgary had one. I figured Vancouver did. I
Yeah,
also
there
didn't know there are 3 in Toronto. That's crazy.
there used to be it used to be Canada Boy Vinyl in Calgary, and I was there. Must have been 4 or 5 years ago, whatever, something like that. Had a tour of the pressing plant and whatever, and they have a recording studio in the pressing plant, so you can actually directly record your stuff on record or on the masters. And but that went down. Everyone's speculating as to why it shut down, but I don't know the details, so I'm not gonna mention anything. And then that got bought, so the same location got bought by someone else, and they kind of reinstated what was there.
What was happening?
Yeah.
Hmm.
So, yeah, Calgary is definitely, and I heard that someone is trying to open one in Edmonton too, I believe. Yeah,
Huh.
but I mean, vinyl is coming back, so where there's a demand, someone will try to make a profit.
Oh yeah. And it's a great thing at shows too to have vinyl. Like I know a lot of bands that have it, and like they sell their vinyl outsells like any other thing that they have by far.
And I think that's the whole power of vinyl, because it's big, right? You can, even if you don't have a record player, you can put it on the shelf and it's like a poster.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
So-
Well, I got to make one of these times. I'll have to get some contact info from you.
Yeah, that's my plug for records.
Yeah.
Let's carry on.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of something else. What do you got going on for the rest of the weekend?
Oh,
Not
painting.
After you got lots left to paint or what?
lots of things to do. Actually, I'll probably continue painting tonight here. So I just got to get the bathroom done, and then I think I'm done for a bit. But yeah, just painting. I don't really have. I'm kind of still working. I have my own little studio here that I kind of work on what I can. So like in my studio, I do electric guitars and like any kind of keyboard or piano pieces like that. I'm able to do in my own studio, and then I will go to Divergent Sounds in Moose Jaw to do more of like acoustic, like vocals, drums, and things like that over there, and acoustic guitars. Anything that like requires an actual sound room instead of just plugging direct. So yeah, I kind of been just working on that most of this year. I figured since I can't go tour and play shows, I might as well invest in my product, and I might as well make a bunch of new tunes and new music and stuff. And then that's always kind of been my favorite part of the whole music business anyways. I've always loved like the creative side over the live show side. But yeah, so I can just work on that periodically throughout the day. And
So when you're recording, are you doing like all the instruments, like the drums and the keyboard?
I was
and
actually just about to
like
ask that, because
everything?
you have a band, but
yeah,
because it's, I actually thought about this in the vehicle on the way home. Like, there are these bands like Sam Roberts, Tyler Gilbert, Dave Matthews. Like, they have their own name
Lenny Kravitz.
plus band. Like, how does that start? I mean, I'm not an artist, so I don't know how that works. Do you start solo and then you just need musicians, so you pull them together, or
So that you can
I,
tour?
I think that's how they happened. I always have like I have Mark and JD. Mark's my drummer and JD's my bass player. So like it worked that way in my case. Like I was a solo guy for like years, and then I brought the band in, and even though it's under my name, like all my albums are full band now. And it's funny, they always, my two bandmates always joke about it. He's like, we can't go against Tyler. Look, his name's on the drum. It's his show. It's like, oh, no, it's not that bad. But yeah, so I don't do everything myself here. I'm mostly just doing like scratch tracks. So I'll do like the scratch guitars were basically the ones that will be thrown away. I just record like that. And then my band can kind of like, because I do all the songwriting for the song more so. So I send it to my bandmates, and then they're able to listen to the song and then kind of write their pieces for it. And we'll change things here and there too once we get practicing things. And then once we record the drums, we'll go into an actual studio, record the drums, and then I'm able to re-record my guitar parts to the timing of a drummer, which is pretty close to like timing of a metronome, but it's just more tighter when you record to the drums. And yeah, so then I'm able to like record our bass player here, and then I just keep building on that, and then I go back into the studio to record the vocals. That's usually kind of like the last thing of the recording process is the vocals. So that's kind of our process. I can't say how it is for other people, but that's how we've done it for like years, and it's always seems to work pretty well.
So when you're doing that, do you have the lyrics to the song prior to doing all the instruments and everything, or did the lyrics kind of flow in as it's being created, like simultaneously? Does it like kind of all evolve together, or is it like one section, another section, then another?
That's an interesting question, because in the past I always wrote my songs with the lyrics kind of being written almost at the same time. So like I'd come up with like a guitar riff and maybe like a verse and a chorus, different riffs, and then I would write some lyrics would kind of pop into my head, and I would write those down as kind of like foundation, and then I would continue kind of working the song together with the lyrics. Whereas this last album or EP, the next couple EPs, I guess, I wanted to do it a different way. So I didn't have any like lyric or vocal ideas. I kind of just blocked them out. I just wanted to focus on the guitar part of it. So I would like take the perspective of just a guitarist instead of like a singer-songwriter style. I kind of wanted to just see how it would affect the writing of the guitar parts in the song. And I do think it does change things. If I'm just focusing on guitar, I think it allows me to be more elaborate with like intricate riffs and such like that. So then these songs here that we're working on with the band, there's currently like there's not really any lyrics to them. So we'll record, and then I'll go in and kind of, well, I'll work on the lyrics here, then I'll go in and record them afterwards.
Right. So is that like Breathe? right? Like the song
Um,
Breathe. Like that's why. Is that why it's like just instrumental?
No, that one I just wanted a little instrumental tune. I just kind of recorded a little thing
Yeah.
by myself.
Okay.
Yeah, that one's a little different, but yeah, it's in kind of a fresh approach for me, anyways. So we'll see how it turns out. It's so far it seems all right because like Superman was written that way too. It was written like not with lyrics initially, and that so like the song was basically done in every musical aspect, and then I came in later and added the words and lyrics and stuff.
Nice. Sweet.
It's always interesting to hear how
Well, yeah.
artists get their songs together.
Yeah, and like I don't think there's like one right way to do it. Like I just I wanted to just change it up this time, just as kind of my own little experiment to see how it would affect the writing of the song, and
it keeps it fresh and exciting too, right? Like,
yeah, well, yeah, that too. Like
And it's part of the creative process, right?
yeah,
You
yeah,
try anything new, it's gonna be the same.
yeah. It's like
Yeah, I
having
think-
sex with a woman. You don't want to do it the same all the time, forever and ever. You got to switch that shit up, man. Keep it fun, right?
there you go.
That's true, man. True.
I think I hear crickets on your side. You had this blank. You had the very blank look on your face.
You know why? Okay, I'll explain my blank face because he said sex with a woman. I'm like, so when you change things up,
I
do
guess
you
if
wanna...
you're doing sex with a man too, you got to switch it up too. Sorry.
No, I was thinking, do you switch to a guy then? Is that...
I don't kiss and tell. I'll never.
Yeah, now you have crickets.
Now I think I hear it. Oh wait, no, that's my smoke alarm.
Yeah.
Sweet. So yeah, I think we're good. Is there
Yeah.
anything specific that you want to touch on tonight before we let you go back to painting?
We don't want to keep you
Not-
too long, so...
Yeah. Oh yeah. I'm just dying to get back to painting those walls. There's nothing else I can really think of that I'd like to add.
Where would the best place for people to find the EP on November 20th? Like, where would you want to direct them to specifically?
Well, like if you're streaming, Spotify or Apple are probably like the best ones. But I actually do have physical CDs if anybody still even uses those. And those are available through my website,
Sweet. And what's the website?
tylergilbert.ca.
Nice.
Are you on social media? I know you are.
Yep, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat.
TikTok?
I was going to say TikTok, but I got rid of it.
Right on. Tyler, thank you very much for joining us, and we'll stay in touch for sure.
Yeah, the door's always open for you here, buddy.
Yep.
Anytime you want to come on the show, you just reach out, let us know. We'll be in touch for sure.
Well, that's awesome. Thank you so much for having me on, guys.
Right on, man.
It's been fun.
We'll do it again.
See you
All
later.
right. Sounds good. See you guys.